Hello and welcome to News Pulse. I'm Esther. The devastating Mon ambush has left a bitter feeling in the state, due to which, in solidarity with the victims, even the Hornbill Festival was suspended. My colleague Atu was able to meet some tourists in Kohima and ask them about their point of view over the dastardly killings and how they are feeling over the present situation in Kohima. Let's have a look.
We don't get the full information whether tomorrow it will be start or today it will be start. For that's the reason we came here again and check it out. But still no information, actually no genuine resource information, still it is not come. So we are also waiting for that.
You didn't get any information from the, passerbys or anybody like that. You got to know it by yourself. Is that what it is?
Yes, we actually had the news coming in from Kerala, like he said. So even they were not exactly sure what happened. They got frightened hearing the news about the shootouts and stuff like that. So we were hoping to get more information after we come here, but pretty much nothing. So we are also waiting to see what's happening after 12, once the band is called off.
Even South India now in Kerala, that side and all, it's like some very big issues happening here. Our family, friends, everyone is going or checking and what's happening there. You guys are safe or what? So, but we didn't feel anything something problem is here. Just 6 to 12 we heard that it's a ban here. So it's quite peaceful. We are looking here, but it's not picture from outside. Yes. Outside people are thinking like that something will be happening here.
So whatever is happening right now, it's all about the Armed Forces Special Power Act. So are you guys aware of that?
Not exactly, to be honest. Being from South India, we do not have much of military force interference in our lives from where we come from. So honestly, we are not exactly sure why this much of interference is happening in the lives of local people. And but honestly speaking, I feel this kind of an incident shouldn't be happening at all. Like
True.
when we are,
of course,
when we are looking up to people like the army or the police or the military, we expect safety, we expect people to be taken care of. But hearing about this was such a shock to us.
That's any reason which they should not do like this, because just 13 civilians they shoot out. It's very, very sad news, actually, very unfortunate.
So actually, we understand that people out there would be, your family and friends would be very much worried about you guys. But do you guys actually feel safe?
As of now, in this place where we're staying, we feel okay because there's no much protests or any physical activities going on here exactly. So we are pretty much okay staying here, but few people who were staying at the same place that we were staying, they have already left the state because they couldn't take the risk, or they were not exactly sure what is going to happen here. But we again stayed back to see how things would settle down and what all will happen in the future.
Even our friends and relatives, everybody is forcing us to, you guys are not stay there, because that kind of picture they are getting there. So we also will check it out what's happening here. But so far we are not feeling any difficulties here.
And also in this kind of situation, celebrating the Hornbill Festival, do you think the government made a right decision by putting it on hold today, or do you think it's okay for the Hornbill Festival to continue further?
To be honest, let's say for the people who are no more showing a little bit of respect and putting the festival on hold, I feel it's a pretty genuine and okay decision. Again, those people, they have lost their lives. We should at least take a day out from our lives to see, to show some respect. I feel that's okay. The decision is okay.
But at the same time, it should not be one day full this thing, because it's this festival is a Nagaland is cultural. It's a very famous festival. All over the world, a lot of people are came only for seeing this. Even for us also, we are just coming from the South India on the Kerala side. Of course, the government have to maybe 1 or 2 hours of any standing kind of we have to. That's or any tax and all. We have to, of course, everybody have a sadness. But at the same time, government has to give the importance for tourists also.
I mean, it will leave a bad impression on the tourists for further.
Exactly, to be honestly, yes. The tourists would feel that, as a personal opinion, I'll feel that hearing this kind of news is really unfortunate, and we are pretty much. There are people who are pretty much scared for their lives for staying here. That's why I said a lot of people have already left the state let's say when the Bandh started by 6 a.m. in the morning, and people have took cabs and taxis by 5 a.m. in the morning and left the state as soon as they could. So like we are not, the only problem is if we are communicated better, like let's say if there are proper regulations that can be followed by tourists, and for like probably checking the right things and making sure the tourists are safe. If those kind of steps are taken, then probably we can have a better understanding of things again.
And also, do you think
around 11:30 now, but still even government they didn't get any proper information from government. They didn't put any information. There is no circular, nothing. So we are all waiting for the circle. Once getting that proper circulation from government, then we have to decide whether we have to stay here, we have to move. So we are also waiting for that.
So also, do you think the organizers and everybody should come up with something where they could actually get a tourist and inform them about what is happening, or if there's any changes?
Exactly. See, social media is one platform the organizers can use to spread the news of whatever the circular is happening. Tourists mainly, they would not have exact idea about how to get the information from government directly. So if the organizers are taking steps to make sure the correct information is passed on, it will be a really good help.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
David Oldfield.
And where are you from?
From San Diego, California.
Also, may I know, when did you get to Nagaland?
Oh, late afternoon yesterday.
So before that, were you aware about what was happening, what's going on in Nagaland right now?
Vaguely, but I still thought things would be open, and I thought I'd be able to get photos and interact with the people once I arrived, but that hasn't happened.
Would you also tell us about how did you get to know about what's happening?
Through a couple friends that happen to live in the area, and they stated their opinions on it. Not that I'm very well versed in that area, but incredibly sad. That's all I can say at this point.
So we're all now, right now, as you said, you're aware about what happened some days ago here in Nagaland, the incident that took so many lives. And also, right now, do you think the government has, put the Hornbill Festival on hold for today, the whole day? Are you aware of that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I am aware of that. I'm here, and we weren't able to get in until 12 o'clock. We were supposed to arrive at around 9 o'clock this morning, and there's nothing going on here. I'm asking people, I'm paying them to dress up so that I can get a few photos, but that's, yeah.
Considering the fact of what happened, do you think it is right for the Hornbill Festival to continue during this kind of situation?
I think if I were them, I have to empathize and put myself in that position, and it's probably not right. And I can be selfish for my own needs and hope that it continued, but I'm sure people lost loved ones, and it's very close to home for them. And so I think if I were one of them, I probably wouldn't be here.
Also, I want to mention, there's, in social media, there's a whole lot of people protesting against the Hornbill Festival, going against the Hornbill Festival, saying that the Hornbill Festival should not continue. Also, considering the fact that Hornbill Festival is one of the biggest festivals in India and also in the Northeast, do you think we should use this as a platform to voice out our grievances?
Oh, I would think so to a degree, because it's something that is so popular, and I think people will listen. I mean, especially the people that have been here and are disappointed that they can't do what they set out to do. There are a lot of people here a lot less fortunate than me. I feel badly for them, where I've been on a one-year hiatus traveling everywhere, and for me it's not a huge deal. For other people, they had to save up everything they had to come out here, and they're not able to see anything, and they're headed back now. So.
And also understanding the fact that the situation, of course, it's kind of sad right now. Do you feel safe?
Personally, I do, but I just got out of Somalia, and I've been in Juba, I've been in all sorts of places and that are much less safe than here. So I feel perfectly fine, but I probably don't speak for everybody.
And also, knowing that you got to know about the situation only last night, late after you reached, do you think the organizers, or there should have been, it could have been more planned to make our tourists aware about what is happening?
I don't know if I'm representative in that manner, because I wasn't told much, but again, the people were optimistic that when I arrived this morning that everything would resume semi as normal. We knew that 8 tribes had left and boycotted, but yeah, they could have communicated in a better manner. I think a lot of people were kind of stunned by this. It wasn't something certainly that people expected. So
may we also know, how long did you plan on staying here?
Originally 4 days, and now it will be 1. So that's that's a little rough for the people that depended upon their business. So.
So will you be leaving soon, or?
Yes, tomorrow morning I'm going to be headed to the national parks over in Assam. So yes.
Hi sir, may I know your good name?
My name is Monish.
And where are you from?
I'm from Maharashtra.
Since when are you here in Nagaland?
I've been here since the 2nd of December. I've come specifically for the festival.
And is this your first time in Nagaland?
Yes, it is.
So are we, the situation is quite tense right here, and we can see that all the morongs are closed and there's no functions going on. So are you aware of what's happening here?
Yes, I am aware about the incidents that took place at Moon Village. I think it's prevalent throughout Nagaland, and whether people are from here or from outside, I think more or less most people are aware of what's going on.
Maybe you also know, how did you learn about it?
I learned about it while I've been at the festival itself, speaking to people and just hearing from others around, and especially when we had the 2 minutes of silence yesterday. I think that's when it really struck the magnitude of the situation.
And also we know that whatever is happening right now is related to the Armed Forces Special Act. So are you aware of what that is?
I know in bits and pieces. I'm not completely aware or entirely aware in depth about the act, but I do know that it allows certain privileges to the forces based on certain situations or reasons that might be relevant. So I'm aware about that part of it.
Also, we see that a lot of people are protesting that Hornbill should not go on anymore in this kind of situation. And also considering the fact that Hornbill Festival is one of the biggest festivals in India and also the Northeast, do you think we should use this as a platform to voice out, to let our voices be heard? Or do you think it's better to stop the festival as of now?
It's quite a tricky situation because it's happened in the middle of the festival, especially after last year was, shut down and you couldn't have such a significant festival like you said. I think whether the festival is shut down or not, I think it should be used as a platform. Whether it's shut down or it continues, either way, I think it should be used as a medium for the people from Nagaland and from the rest of the Northeast to voice what's in their minds and their hearts, and make an affirmative statement about whatever they want to say.
And also, we would want to know about what's the reaction from the people outside there, from your place, or your parents, or your family. Are they worried about you?
They're not worried because they're aware that the people of the Northeast are sensitive and they're not like hostile or something like that. So in that sense, people back home are aware about the situation, and yes, there is certain kind of concern as to what's happening and things like that. But there's no question about my own safety as such. Yes, there is a larger question about what's happening in the region, whether it's stable or not. But apart from that, at a personal level, no, it's all fine.
So do you feel safe?
Yeah, 100%. I'm still here, and I'm going to be here, and I'm probably going to travel after the festival as well. The only thing I'm considering is whether it's a good time, considering that the people also need to be respected. So that's the only consideration, but apart from that, I don't have any kind of qualms about staying here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Appreciate it.
As seen earlier, we got to speak to some of the tourists here, and considering the fact that there are no cultural events going on and all the morongs are shut, of course there were less people and of course there were less tourists here today. But I could also mention that the number of tourists that we spoke today, those were not the only ones. We did come across other tourists, but they were not able to come to the camera and speak about anything for their own personal reasons. But after speaking to the tourists, we got to know that they were informed, or they got to know about whatever is happening in and around here and also in Mon district later on, only at night, and only after they reached the location, and they could see that all the morongs were closed. So they went around asking people about what's going on, or else they did not get any information from any official site or anything. That's what they informed. And also when asked about if the people in the places, their families and friends were worried about their safety here, considering the fact that the situation is quite dense here. They did mention that, of course, their families are worried about them, but they themselves are aware that, and aware that nothing is going to happen to them and that they feel safe here as of now. And also, when asked about if they think that Hornbill Festival should continue, they had mixed emotions and mixed opinions about it, and that totally depends on their personal view. But also they mentioned that it would have been good for them and also made it much easier for them if the officials could share it on their social media, or could use social media to inform the tourists as well and guide them. And also when asked about if they're going to leave for their respective places, some did mention that, Nagaland is not just all about the Hornbill Festival, so they will stay and they'll try to explore, but also some did mention that they'll be leaving soon. That's all we have for now. I'm Atu Jama with camera person Aaron, reporting for Hornbill TV.